Prayer in school, the Ten Commandments, Christmas manger scenes at government buildings. All of those are battles over separation of church and state. But the latest battle doesn't revolve around any of those. This one is centered at a site within the Petroglyph National Monument right in Albuquerque's backyard. News 13's Dean Staley is on special assignment.
In the world of the National Park Service, this Buddhist stupa is far from nirvana. In fact, it's in limbo. When the National Park Service bought this 2-acre property back in 1996, it had a home with a Tibetan prayer wheel, a sweat lodge, even a swimming pool. And the previous owners removed everything except for this Buddhist stupa. And for 15 years, no one seemed to notice. That was until these dirt mounds appeared around the stupa last summer, and Buddhists feared the Park Service was about to tear down this religious monument. They launched a national email campaign encouraging Buddhists to come and protect the stupa. Turns out the dirt was for an amphitheater here at the visitor center.
At that time and at this time, we don't have any plans for the stupa. We're waiting to hear from Washington, D.C.
But the controversy had already grown. A national group called Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility heard about the stupa, and they had a new question.
As we understand the Constitution, the government's not supposed to be involved in the establishment of religion. So our National Park Service owns a Buddhist stupa, and we have no idea as to why on earth that passes legal muster.
Last October, Pierce sent a letter to the Park Service asking for an explanation. Park Service emails show the National Park Service director called on his subordinates to make reassuring statements to the public, but to be silent on the future of the stupa.
The best we could tell, the Park Service has sort of a don't ask, don't tell policy, which is we hope you don't ask us because we don't plan to tell you.
The Park Service should have a policy by now. This cross in the Mojave National Park was the center of legal wrangling that lasted years until the cross was mysteriously stolen last summer. These religious plaques, placed at the Grand Canyon decades ago by the Evangelical Sisterhood of Mary, were removed in 2003 after the ACLU complained. They were reinstalled by the Park Service under the Bush administration. Each time, the Park Service promised a policy review.
So this is about the 5th instance where the Park Service has responded to a controversy by saying they're doing a legal and policy review. But to our knowledge, they've never done one.
I think they're looking into the ramifications. They're looking into what other national park units may be affected by such a policy.
In the meantime, the taxpayers own a bona fide Buddhist religious monument purchased by accident and still in limbo.
We pay all these people at the Park Service to protect the resources and the integrity of the system. And I don't think we're getting our money's worth.
On special assignment, Dean Staley, KRQE News 13.
The Park Service has been very careful not to talk about the future of the stupa until a decision is made in Washington. But a likely option would be to find a sponsor to move that structure to a site outside the monument.